Retired school teacher. I am a wife, a mother, a daughter, friend, and most recently added to my list is kidney warrior, transplant survivor. I learned when I was about a teenager, kind of like an early teenager, that I had been spilling protein into my urine. I was going to my physical appointments. My parents would take me for those yearly physicals and found out that I was spilling this protein. But nothing was really ever kind of discussed, or my parents weren't really guided as to what to do next. So I went on and graduated, middle school, high school, went on to college and started to notice some symptoms, some swelling, fatigue, becoming really tired. I was a student athlete in high school and had a lot of energy. I swam and I played volleyball. But as I started getting toward the college age, I could tell that I wasn't as interested in those things, not because I wasn't good at them. I just felt that I couldn't hang with the rest of my teammates. And so I just decided to bow out gracefully and just do the normal student college thing. Fast forward to the year 2000 when I gave birth to my twin sons. During that pregnancy process, they noticed the protein as well, and they noticed the blood pressure inching up more and more. So then I was put on medications, I was put on bed rest, had to take some leave from work, and it was after the birth that things started to kind of head south. And then all of a sudden, some symptoms started getting worse and worse. More swelling, water retention, blood pressure issues. I started trying to get second opinions. I went to another well-known hospital in the metro area and was just told it was diet and this and that, made changes. Nothing changed that blood work. My creatinine number had shot up really high, and I was like in stage 2, then moved to stage 3, and it kind of leveled out for a little bit, and everything just kept inching down in terms of that kidney failure number. And then finally, a very good friend of mine said, would you like to go and see this doctor that we worked with, just for another opinion? Not sure what he can do, but let's go. So we went to see him, and he basically said, you're in stage 5, which is basically end-stage renal disease.
There are 5 stages to kidney disease, and when you get to the last 2 stages, stage 4 and 5, you're at the point of no return. So this is when I see patients. I see them for consultation on what to do next, and usually the next step is to get a kidney transplant.
People in the family and friends started to ask, well, what does someone do in order to find out if they're a match for you? So I had some family members offer. I had as a teacher in a large building, I had the librarian offer her kidney to me, offer to be tested, I should say. A substitute teacher, another one of my best friends, a former student's mom and her best friend. It was just overwhelming to get that type of response to my need. It was actually very humbling. I had one friend who was older than me, willing to donate as well, and she went through the testing process and did not qualify because they found out during her process of testing that she had a growth on one of her kidneys that she never would have found out about if she had not offered to go through this process. It was a benign situation. She's healthy, she's doing well, and that was taken care of on her end with her physicians. And then I got a call about my donor, James.
One day I was actually in bed and I was having a dream, and in the dream I was having a conversation with Tracey, and she was just sitting there and just smiling. It was a gentle smile, and it was almost a humorous smile, and it was a smile that didn't really relate to the conversation that she and I were having in the dream. And so I asked her, why are you smiling? And she said, are you gonna save my life? And I shot up out of bed and I was like, I've got to get this going.
He sort of gave me a random call. I was out and about running some errands, and he sounded really sad and kind of melancholy on the phone. And I was like, is everything okay? He was like, yeah. You know, I'm just coming from the doctor, and yeah, I've got some news I need to share with you. And I'm like, is everything okay? He was like, and he had this little giggle, and he was like, I just wanted to let you know that I'm a match and I can go through with this transplant. I mean, I was screaming in the street. People must have thought I was a lunatic. I was screaming, I was crying. I was like, I can't believe this is happening.
The donation process for a donor is actually very extensive. They're going to do a lot of tests and labs to make sure that you are in excellent condition. You're also going to have to go through a lot of diagnostic studies, lots of x-rays and CT scans and things of that nature. Now, after all of those tests, we then have to present all of their data to a committee that will approve them to be a donor.
I had my last dialysis treatment the night before. There were certain things I couldn't do, couldn't eat or drink afterwards. Then bright and early in the morning, we were both prepped in the ER waiting area to go into surgery.
The morning of the kidney donation was actually my birthday. And I remember writing a poem about just how happy I am to just be put in a position to help someone who has spent so much of her life helping other people. And I felt full and complete. And was ready to do what the situation called for.
James went in 5 minutes before me because, of course, they're removing his kidney to give to me. So we said our little prayers, and it was his birthday. We sang happy birthday in the room, and then he was rolled off. I just remember being very lovingly cared for during that process, going in and coming out.
I took off work the following week just because I could, but I didn't have to. My body recovered rather quickly. Was able to walk, do typical things, but the recovery process was extremely pleasant.
It takes about a month or month and a half before they are totally healed. But for people undergoing this operation, they are surprised at how quickly they get back to normal.
My life after the surgery, from a physical standpoint, is actually unchanged. Scars are minimal. I'd have to probably point out to you what and where, the incisions were. There are no factors prohibiting me from, doing anything different other than, different than what I was doing prior to.
For the typical person that donates their kidney, their post-donation life is pretty much what it would have been had they never donated their kidney, which is good.
For me, the donation has just meant that I get to be here. Like, I get to be with my children. Like, my sons are gonna turn 22 in a few weeks, but I get to be present. I love my husband to death. I love my friends, my kids. This is the part that makes me tear up, because it's like, I get to celebrate another birthday. Because going into transplant, my kidney function was at 4%, and now it's at 75%. And this was just such a selfless, unconditional, radical act of love. Radical.